Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I am George. We're all George. So good morning. Welcome to another market open stream. Today, of course, everyone is wondering, is the Bitcoin dump over specifically from one company, Grayscale? So let's talk about what's going on. The latest dumping from Grayscale. Is it over? And what can we expect more from Bitcoin? And a few alts as well. Let's do it. Welcome, guys. Good morning. Bitcoin is still holding strong right below $40,000. A little volatility, but not a whole lot of movement. So what is going on? Well, before I get to that real quick, I did see in the US, the economy grew at 3.3%. The GDP came in better than expected. So this is all looking pretty good. And here's the thing. The better this looks, right? The more inclined that, well, I don't know. I was going to say, you know what? We got a Fed rate cut to look forward to later this year, probably mid-year, right? Powell is going to be looking at inflation. So he's going to make sure that inflation doesn't go too hot. Or he may need to keep the rates elevated. So I don't know. Maybe then a stronger economy means more buying, means prices go up. I don't know. That may actually delay things in terms of rate cuts. We'll see. We'll see, though. But yeah, it came in better than expected as a country. Of course, this is what we want to see. This is awesome. You know, the funny thing is, when I was showing headlines like this back in 2022 and 2023, when you had good economic data, the market tanked because people were afraid of more rate hikes. So it was just a really strange time, and hopefully we're past that now. I also saw this. There are still a lot of homes on sale. If you guys are looking for a home in the Hamptons, you can buy mansions that were once listed for 150 million for less than 90 million now. Think about that. You're getting a 50% discount for a mere 90 million. You get one of these bad boys in case you're house shopping right now. Maybe you're doing a little shopping ahead of time before 2025. But, you know, just to throw that out there, there's a lot of bargains. Anyways, going back to Bitcoin. So what's going on with the dumping? Is Grayscale, have they stopped? Well, the answer is no. So looking at yesterday, day 9, the good thing is the dumping is slowing down. But there is still a lot of dumping. Grayscale dumped about 429 million yesterday. And unfortunately, even with additions into the other ETFs, it wasn't enough to overcome the 429 million. So we had a net loss of 158 million coming out of the market rather than going into the market. But you could see that it has slowed down. The day before, it was like 600 something. So hopefully, we're going to find that equilibrium soon, right? Last night I talked about a lot of theories about whether or not it was FTX that sold the most or DCG, the parent company of Grayscale, if they sold the most. We don't know. But right now, after day 9, after a little bit more than a week, Grayscale has dumped 4.4 billion with a B out of their fund. So that brings them down to about 20.2 billion, 20.3 billion. Overall net flows after 9 days is still positive, 824 million. So that's good. More went in than out, right? But yesterday, for the last 2 days, yesterday and the day before, we had more outflows than inflows. Here's the thing. Eventually, it's going to stop. Grayscale is not like the Federal Reserve, okay? They can't just print more money. They can't even print more shares if they wanted to without adding more Bitcoin, right? So at some point, this is going to stop. There's going to be an equilibrium where they don't sell more than they take in. And then that's when, that selling, pressure just dissipates, and that's when Bitcoin can come back up again. But right now, all eyes are on Grayscale. There's just a lot coming out. But here's the thing. yesterday was interesting because BlackRock didn't add as much Bitcoin as Fidelity. Fidelity added double BlackRock yesterday. So they're close. BlackRock holds 1.8 billion and Fidelity holds 1.6 billion. And plus the others are still gaining. ARK is over $500 million in their fund. Bitwise is at basically $500 million. And others are picking up. Okay, so overall, these big institutions, they're still loading up on Bitcoin. I've been saying this for a while, ever since, I've been saying it for years, but ever since the introduction of ETFs, it has accelerated. These guys will continue to load up. They don't care about volatility. In fact, they embrace it. They rather see the market go down so they can accumulate more cheaply. That's the right mentality. Unlike most retail investors, they do the opposite, right? But there are a lot of accumulation right now. Now, something that's really interesting out of Bitwise is this. They've gone ahead and announced their wallet address. So, most of these big boys, they don't tell you anything. They hide everything. They don't want you to know. But Bitwise, they were the ones that first came out and said that they were going to donate a portion of their profits to the Bitcoin developers, to the community. I think they said 5% or something, which is fantastic. And now they just gone ahead and released their wallet address so everyone can track it and knows exactly how much is in it, right? And right now it's $465 million worth. It's about 11,858. There's no guessing. You don't need Arkham to go in and try to find all the wallets or anything like that. They're just letting you know. That's fantastic. If all the fund companies, right, does this, it would be absolutely fantastic. But I have a feeling that BlackRock is not going to be sharing their address. But, eventually Arkham could find it anyways, right? But I'm more interested in the wallets that are not holding the funds, BTC, but like their own individual private stash of BTC, because I feel like a lot of these institutions have separate wallets with a lot more, billions upon billions upon billions of Bitcoin in there. We just don't know, not yet. I think eventually it'll come out. Anyways, so that's pretty cool. Moving forward, outside the institutions, whales are still loading up. If you look at entities with over 1,000 Bitcoin in their wallet, it's going up. It's going up by the hundreds. So ever since like a few weeks ago. So the whales out there are definitely loading up. There are a lot of examples. You could look into whale alerts or whatever. You see a lot of transactions like 10 million, 50 million, 100 million going into Binance or Coinbase or whatever, right, of USDT. What are they doing? They're buying Bitcoin and crypto with it, and they're loading up right now because they're not discouraged. I'm not discouraged. Hopefully none of you guys are discouraged about the recent price dump because we know there's so much goodness coming. We're moving exactly like how we should, despite some of the FUD that has come out and become rampant in the space, right? So the whales are still loading up as well. Retail, I know I don't have any figures right now, but retail, most retail investors that have been in it for at least a few years, also not discouraged. The number of holders, basically all-time high. Number of Bitcoin being held for 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years, all-time high. So that's the good thing. But I'm fearful of the new retail investors that have FOMO'd in recently. Now they're becoming discouraged and they're leaving, and they really shouldn't be. So here's one example of Bitcoin moving on track. And this is actually really uncanny, but if you look at it, 80 days till the halving event. Back in 2016, Bitcoin was still 62% down from its high. In 2020, 80 days from the halving event, Bitcoin was 52% down from its previous high. And right now, we're 80 days away from the halving event, and we're 42% down from our previous high. So do you see the pattern there? Every single cycle, right? We've been recovering faster, or you could argue we haven't dumped as much as before, right? But again, we're moving according to plan. We're moving exactly the same way as before. 80 days prior to the halving event, we're much closer to the previous high than the bottom, right? We've been recovering. It has always happened. And then what always happens after a halving event? You know, that parabolic rise up. And that is coming up too. That's not going to change. It's just a question of if it happens right away or we have to wait a few months. That's the thing. In 2020, we had to wait about 4 months after a halving event before Bitcoin really took off. So this time around, but in 2017, that's not the case. In 2017, things just kind of took off immediately, or 2016, I should say. So we'll have to see after this time, after April, or we're going to have to wait until August or September to see that parabolic rise, or do we just see it starting in, you know, May, June, July? We could, because it correlates with the timing of the Fed rate cuts, but we'll see. Anyways, my point is this. Yeah, Bitcoin doesn't care. Bitcoin doesn't care about macro conditions, or it doesn't care about FUD. It doesn't care about whale manipulation. Bitcoin is just pure. It's code. And it's beautifully designed so that it accommodates everything. And it's just going to keep on moving forward, and that's not going to change. And how far forward is it going to go? Well, you guys know that every 4-year cycle, well, some of you guys know, every 4-year cycle, basically, you have one nasty year. That's the year where Bitcoin comes down from its top. It forms a bottom, and then it goes into recovery mode for about 3 years. Now, what's interesting is one of those 3 years is basically getting to where we are now, right? From the bottom, and now we're getting close to the halving event. And then for the next 2 years on, basically, or 1.5 years, is the parabolic rise. Again, we're moving exactly the same way as before. So nothing has changed. In fact, you could argue that maybe we have moved a little bit faster than before. Okay, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the halving event. I'm waiting for what comes later this year, and especially in 2025. That's when things will get very, very, very interesting. All right, so that's Bitcoin. What else is there? There's a few other news that's actually pretty significant that I want to talk about from the alt side. First is from Solana. Solana today introduced something called token. Well, actually, I'm sorry. This was actually yesterday, but it's important. Solana introduced token extensions. Okay. What does that mean? Basically, Solana wants a whole bunch of people to utilize or create tokens within Solana. And basically, they're coming out with a whole bunch of stuff that makes it really, really, really easy and useful to create tokens on top of Solana. So they give examples. For example, you can build your own stable coin, right? And provide monetization options. Like you can control how much fees or tax there is, right? You could also simplify it or make it more private. You can hide the transactions. You could hide the balances, right? And you can have a whole bunch of stuff in there where you tie in, I don't know, real world assets, NFTs, loyalty cards. I mean, basically, they're making it so that you can create the ultimate tokens and do it better than any other chain out there. That's what token extensions are, which is really interesting. I'm not a developer, but they release all this stuff that you can do with it. And it's actually quite interesting. It gives so much power to the developers that you just don't see in any other ecosystem. So that's pretty good for Solana. But outside of that, the NFT volume actually surpassed even Bitcoin's because, you know, Bitcoin is now the hot place for NFTs because of ordinals, but they surpassed even Bitcoin in NFT volume over the last 7 days. And one of their projects, one of their dApps, Helium, just made a big partnership with the telecom giant Telefoncia. I think that's how you say it. My Spanish is horrible. So that you could use your Helium mobile phone in Mexico. That's fantastic. US, Mexico, basically everywhere, right? So that's also fantastic. One of the excuse me. I normally never ever sneeze on stream. I apologize for that. Couldn't help it. Anyways, one of the dApps that's within Helium's within Solana's ecosystem that's actually really useful and is branching out worldwide. Thank you. All right. And then lastly, let's talk a little bit about Polygon. Polygon did release this today. They gave a timetable on Polygon 2. A lot of you guys are confused about Polygon 2. I'm a little confused about Polygon 2, but they will deploy the testnet for Polygon 2 next month. And they're introducing something that's totally new, a new architecture. Just last night, I covered something called modular blockchains, which basically have different layers and different chains that talks to the main chain. So you have monolithic, which is like what Ethereum is, and then you have modular, which is something like, I don't know, Celestia. And now you have aggregated blockchains, which is like the newest thing. According to Polygon, it's going to be like this. It's like a caveman turning into a fully grown human, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, basically they're saying that, using ZK technology, you will have side chains, but they communicate with each other and with the main chain seamlessly as if they were all one big chain. Okay. So that's kind of their thing. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know how that's going to be in terms of, well, how decentralized it's going to be, how fast it's going to be, right? And what about the transition from regular to Polygon POS chain and the ZK EVM chain? I don't know how they're all going to be tied into it, but I think they're going to figure it out. They're going to figure it out. So you could actually see right here, that's what they're trying to do, right? So that's coming up in February. Polygon has been a little bit stagnant as of late. Maybe this will help them, push them forward. But you know what? Even with the stagnation, in terms of developers, okay, or I should say, developers are single devs. I don't know what you want to say, but if you look at who wrote code on all the various chains, Polygon is number 2, right behind Ethereum. And then you have Solana. Solana's up there. BSC is up there. Cosmos is up there. Arbitrum's up there. Polygon Near and so forth. But Polygon is number 2. And it makes sense. They're absolutely huge and they're EVM based. They're layer 2. Right, but with Polygon 2.0, we'll see if that brings more attention to them. And in terms of NFT sales for the last 24 hours, they're up there too. Number 2, right behind Bitcoin. All right, that is pretty much it overall. You know what? We'll see how the day goes. I don't have CMC open. Let me open it. Let's do some Q&A. Viz. Are there any meme coins on Cosmos? That's a good question. I don't think so. I don't think there are any memes on Cosmos. There may be one or two, but I don't know. You would have to create a whole chain because every dApp within Cosmos is on its own chain. So I doubt it because then you would have to create a whole chain just to host your meme. So yeah. No. But of course, obviously the chains within, like Injective, for example, it does have their meme. Ninja. Let's see. All right, now I'm getting caught up. JH. You know what? I wonder how easy it is to create a meme on Solana. Because there's so many out there. I mean, for Ethereum, there are a lot of token like creators that help you do it. But the problem is getting on Uniswap and providing enough liquidity. That's always difficult. But I'm wondering how easy it is to do it on Radium and Solana. I bet it's pretty easy now. Any DPIN project study recommendation? DPIN is like a new acronym for decentralized physical infrastructure. That's part of DeFi. It's always been. You have decentralized cloud providers, right? That replaces data warehouses around the world or data centers. That's considered DPIN. I don't know what else is there. Like, I think people said, like Render, for example, is replacing physical GPUs. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's considered DPIN. They're not new. It's been around for a long time. It's just there's a new acronym somehow, and it's being thrown out there now. Making serious money shorting with leverage. Oh, be very, very careful. The only thing more dangerous than leveraging longs is leveraging shorts. Because you just don't know what piece of news comes out and drives things upwards. But I get some people want to play around with it. Just be very careful. Leverage shorts is like way worse than leverage longs. And I never shed a tear for liquidations of shorts. Yeah, I guess helium, I just covered helium too. Helium would be considered DPIN too. Sort of. I mean, it's still using physical infrastructure, sort of, but it's using a lot of decentralized network, their own 5G network, so they're considered DPIN too. Kelly Claus. Have you looked into Scale? In fact, I did. I just talked about them last night. Wasmo, the new meme on osmosis. Yeah, it's probably not going to do well. You need memes to... I mean, memes will only thrive on popular chains. Very big, hot, popular chains. Osmosis, just not there yet. Vlad says, do you think big institutions will dump on the market when BTC will hit all-time high in fear of not being first to cash out like BlackRock and others? I don't know. Maybe. Or maybe not. We'll see. By the end of this year, a lot of institutions will be holding spot ETFs. And are they going to dump? No, I don't think so. I think a lot of them are studying Bitcoin. They're studying history. They're not stupid. They know about the halving event. They know about the 4-year cycle. So if anything, they're not going to dump at the end of the year. They're going to hold until next year. And then next year, I guess we'll just have to see how high things are. I think a lot of them will naturally take profit, especially like the trading firms or hedge funds and so forth. But when you have like big institutions, I think people forgot Mass Mutual bought $100 million worth of Bitcoin like 3 years ago. I'm pretty sure they still hold it. Like for big institutions like them, like an old insurance company, they're not going to just time the market. They didn't sell when Bitcoin dumped. They just kept it, right? And I think a lot of the big institutions that come in, they will do the same thing. They're like, we put it on our balance sheet. We're in the green, so there's no reason for us to dump it after 2025. They're just going to keep it for, I don't know, forever. So I think you're going to see a lot of institutions like that too. It's about even. Today is about even. Bitcoin dominance went up a little bit. Just recently we were below 50%. Now we're at 50.5%. Any reason that Grayscale is selling? They have to. So there's a lot of heat on Grayscale because they are selling, but it's because they have to. Because shareholders of Grayscale and the early investors, they are dumping because for years they were not able to sell. Now they're able to. But there's also some controversy that DCG, which is the biggest holder of GBDC and Grayscale shares, is also dumping. See, that we don't know. Next quarter or whenever they release their quarterly results or annual results report, and it shows that if they dumped, it would not be a surprise, right? And FTX also held a lot of GBDC shares, and they dumped too, about 2 billion's worth, which is a lot too. Are there any projects that are promising but don't necessarily need a coin like Hive Mapper? If yes, what does this mean for the price of these coins? I don't get it. If there are projects that don't need a coin, then there is no coin to buy. Then I don't know what. Are you saying, okay, like a project like Hive Mapper doesn't need a coin, so does that mean the coin is useless? Kind of, yes, but a lot of projects are like that, and people still buy the coins. So, and it's not just with like someone like Hive Mapper. You could argue like Arbitrum, ARB tokens. What do they do? It's just a governance token. You don't even need it to pay for anything. It's using ETH for gas. So why do you really need an Arbitrum token? Why do you need a governance token? They released it after the fact. Same with Optimism, right? A lot of these are just purely governance. They're not even used within the chain, right? So, yeah, but it doesn't matter because people will buy them no matter what. Tony, I think you know the answer to that. Celestia or Insane Clown Posse? I would pick Celestia. Did I crash Tesla? I don't think I crashed Tesla, but Microsoft lays off 1,900 workers. That's not good. Today the market is good. Tesla is down 9% due to their bad. To be fair, even though I've been harsh on Tesla cars, Tesla as a company itself is still seeing tremendous growth, incredible growth, more growth than any other car manufacturer on the planet. But with that said, they're not making nearly as much as before. Their net profits from each car has dropped dramatically, even with their price cuts. Their projected growth is a lot less now, so that's why investors they're being more cautious. I mean, keep in mind, Tesla has always been very, very overvalued, right? The market cap of Tesla is more than every other car manufacturer combined. So think about that. I mean, it was just very, very overvalued. It's always been like that ever since the beginning, ever since ARK decided to back them. And, they might be coming down to reality soon, But who knows? It's led by Elon. Elon could do a lot. Maybe he finally gets FSD working properly, or he introduces the Optimus robot or something like that that's going to turn things around. One thing about their cars I think they just need newer cars. I think he's going to start realizing that car manufacturers has a refresh cycle on purpose for a reason. Every 4 to 5 years, you can entice new buyers and even existing buyers with a new model that looks different, that looks better, with more features and so forth. With all the current Teslas right now, how Elon does it is just rolls little updates here and there with every car. And every year, you don't know what's coming. Even in the same year, you could have a Model Y or a Model 3 have different features than one that was produced just a month ago. And people hate that. And it gives people actually really little incentive to upgrade. Like if I have a Model X, for example, if there's a new Model X in 4 years, I was like, hey, maybe I should upgrade, right? But Model X's have been basically the same for like 10 years. Besides coming out the Plaid edition, like same thing with Model 3s. They finally changed it up a little bit, right? Model Y still hasn't changed. There's a lot of things that Elon, I think, is trying to push the envelope with, and it's not working. Like the yoke steering wheel was just a horrible idea, and now they just got rid of it. You have to pay more for the yoke steering wheel. It was just a bad idea to begin with. I don't know why they needed to introduce it, but they forced it upon people, and now they realize it was a mistake. And on the yoke steering wheel, the horn is removed. You had to press a button instead of just pressing down in the middle, right? That was a stupid move. I mean, there's just a lot of stupid things that Tesla have done. But there's a lot of great things. But like the little things, I don't know why they had to like go against the grain so much and make people relearn how to drive, which really sucks. All right, again, every time I talk about Tesla, I just like, say a lot of bad stuff. I hate to sound like a Tesla bear. Paul, new member, welcome. Do you privately chart people on X? What do you mean by that? It's Jerry Sr. Chart people? What do you mean? Are you not worried about Cosmos effect for Celestia, where projects built on Celestia or in the ecosystem outperform main chain? That never happens, other than Cosmos itself, which still hasn't happened. Injective is not above Cosmos, but it's very, very rarely do you see a DApp within a chain become more profitable or bigger in market cap than the chain itself. I can't think of any. I think the only one is BNB. They're not even recognized as a Cosmos chain, but they are, and they're bigger than Cosmos. I guess that's the example, but very rare do you see that. What other company makes cars and rockets go fast? I don't know. NASA? I don't know. Keep in mind, SpaceX and Tesla are two different companies. Even though they're headed by one person, but they are two different companies. Miro price prediction. Miro took a little dip recently. Overall, they're holding well, but they took a little dip. I think a lot of momentum went to WIF because of that Big Get listing. WIF is doing better right now. But I think it's going to eventually WIF is going to slow down, and guess what? That money's going to flow into Miro. So I think that's just how it's going to be. They're both eventually going to get listed on Coinbase. There's some new one called Honk now. I don't even know how they got a CMC listing so fast. Usually these memes do not get listed on CMC until they're much bigger. And this is on Solana too. Maybe Honk is the new one to be getting into. I don't know. I just saw this on CMC. Yeah, I don't know how some of these guys have inside connections to get them listed really fast. I'm getting a message from unverified X account in your name and pictures. You, of course, not me. It's unverified. Of course, you should know that. And why would I reach out to you, to be quite honest? So I could send you Charts? No. Just use some common sense. I don't reach out to anyone. Theta, I kind of given up on Theta. Surprisingly, they're still near $1 billion. I was really big on Theta back in 2021. They had a tremendous growth year. They have their Theta TV, which is a decentralized gaming platform or streaming platform like Twitch. And they were getting to NFTs, and then, you know, and then it's kind of like didn't go anywhere. They have several tokens. They have Theta, they have T Fuel, and they have some other one. They have 3 layers of like validators. Yeah, I don't know what happened to them. I never hear about them. I wonder if Theta.tv is still around. Yeah, they are. Oh, now you gotta wait. How do you get to it? I think you have to download. Or maybe they got rid of it. Because when you go to Theta.tv, it just goes to like a Twitch-like site where you see a lot of streamers. I guess they got rid of it. Now it's a showcase of Theta Network Web3 video infrastructure. How do you even see what's being streamed on there? Yeah, see that Katy Perry thing? That never went anywhere. I'm really shocked that they're even showing that. That went 0. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Do you believe in reflection projects like Baby Doge, 1 billion market cap? Not that I believe or don't believe them. I mean, first of all, they're so big already. Second of all, I don't like memes that copy other memes. Like Baby Doge, I always thought was stupid. I don't know. They still build a good community and they got to where they are, but you know, that's why when people ask me, what do you think about Baby Pepe or Dragon Pepe or whatever Pepe? I mean, like, be more original. Be something different. Bonk did, you know, it was fine. It's a silly name with a dog and it looks cute and it worked, right? Same deal with Myro. Whiff is just so stupid, but it's still caught on. It works, right? They didn't have to use, they didn't try to steal the thunder of another meme. So that's, you know, I just feel like if you're going to be a meme, you got to be original. At least with the name. At least with the name. Can you show us a glimpse of your Lego room on a Sunday video? You know, I've been working hard on my new Lego room, and it looks fantastic. I might do that this Sunday on CryptoSauce Plus. Do you think there'll be a lot of crypto Super Bowl ads? I think so. A lot of these companies have started making money again, so I think so. I did not like Coinbase's ad last year. Hopefully it's gonna be better. I think a lot of like BlackRock and them, they're gonna have their commercials. You know, we already saw BlackRock's commercial was so boring, but I think BlackRock and others will go have their commercial. Bitwise will have their commercial. Wolf Miner, Amara Miner, price prediction. Can't give you price prediction. I just know the mining companies, they move with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin does well, they move. If Bitcoin doesn't do well, they move, right? It's like almost in tandem. So it's, I mean, to me, it's like almost pointless. Especially, and if you're like trying to buy stocks or equities instead of physical Bitcoin, you have options. You have spot ETFs now. You have Coinbase. You have MicroStrategy. You have the mining stocks. But ultimately, they all follow Bitcoin. They're not going to deviate from Bitcoin. You're not going to see a MicroStrategy stock skyrocket and Bitcoin tank. That's just not going to happen. It won't. So ultimately, you're just like investing the same thing. So why not just go with the best? What's your daily driver right now? A Model X Plaid. It's okay. It's a decent car for a daily driver. But still a lot of faults. The Falcon doors are so inconvenient. They look cool, but very, very inconvenient. And you won't know that until you live with one. But overall, it's not bad. But you know, it has depreciated so much. That's what sucks about Teslas because they're like technology devices, like a phone. So they do not hold their value well at all. Snack is the most legit meme. I would say they're pretty legit for sure. That's why I support them. Because those guys are hardcore Cardano guys and they want Cardano to thrive. What do you think about Kulo on CMC and Sex? Well, I think they need to get bigger before they get listed. Because if you're too small as a meme, you get listed on an exchange, you can get dumped on really fast. As for CMC and CoinGecko, you know, that'll come with time. Right now, it's about building that base, that loyal base. All memes need to have that great community. So you need to have that base. You don't want just people to come in to try to, you know, ride the pump and dump, right? You want people that really believe in it, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to build up that base, which is good. Rich people, yeah, first world problems. Yes, it's true. It's true. Much love from Houston, Texas. You know what about Houston? I still want to run that contest. I've been hyping this up, and I think I'm going to do it soon. And I might do something else too. Um, I'll throw this idea out there. What do you guys think about this idea? I'm going to throw out a poll right now and see if you guys would do it.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.
I think everyone's going to say yes. But... Oh, wait, it says... So I've been thinking about new... Oops. I just realized my my camera went off. And I showed the most educational video about XRP on accident. But yeah, I've been thinking about new ways of doing like new shows, you know, for CRU Plus. You know, more fun shows, like almost like game type shows, because I think that'll be, you know, it'll be different and changes the mood a little bit and helps people win some money too. I think that'll be fun. I don't know, just thinking out loud, but I was just thinking about, yeah, I kind of thought like I have this new idea, like a trivia show basically, where you pit two people against each other, two contestants, right? And of course, the winner takes the money. I think that could be fun. I mean, there's a lot of other ideas I have too. I've been studying Mr. Beast a lot. And obviously I can't give out the same kind of money he does, but I would like to do a lot of stuff that he does because I think it's just like they're really challenging, right? They test you. And if you put a crypto spin to it, it could do really well. What about a contest to be able to meet the girl who wants to meet Chris Larson? You know what? You might be able to meet her at my WAG conference. I'll probably get her there. Bruce, welcome. MJ says that would be the bomb. See, I think a lot of you guys like. A lot of people won't, because a lot of people just want to know. Well, tell me what to buy, and I want to make money from it. But you know, to have crypto-related kind of game shows or contests, I think will be really interesting. Here's another idea, and if I ever meet any of you guys at a crypto conference like Consensus or Bitcoin 2024, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna bring a hula hoop. All right. And I'm going to just go like randomly ask people that's outside of Bitcoin 2024. I'm just going to ask them to stand in that hula hoop. And for every hour they stand in there, I'll give them $500. But you can't leave for 8 hours to be able to collect your money. I want to see if anyone will do that. And I'll give them in Bitcoin or whatever crypto they want. And you know, like stuff like that, fun stuff. I want to see if people will actually do it. I think they would. I'll do that for a week. It's not as easy as it sounds. You have to stand in there, no sitting. I don't know. I guess you could use your phone, but your phone will run out of battery. So eventually you're going to just get bored. Yeah, it's a hula hoop. Hula hoop is not that big. Like, you can't sit. Basically, you just have to stand in there. No bathroom breaks either. You have to stay within that hoop. See, that makes it challenging too. You could get people to get drinks or food for you, but then you can't use the bathroom. So it's like, if you can make it for 8 hours, that's like $4,000, right? That's good amount of money. But can you make 8 hours? And you're missing the conference too. That's the other thing. You're paying to go there. You have to miss the conference. Pee in a bottle, you could, but this is going to be public. This is going to be like outside in front of their doorway. So are you willing to take on the the shame of doing that? And maybe the security guards kick you out. They can watch. I guess so. I guess. I'm just throwing ideas out there. I do want to do stuff like this. I mean, I have incredible respect for Mr. Beast, because even though he puts people in those situations, he also puts himself in those situations. I've seen videos where he buries himself for 7 days in like a glass coffin. Like, I would never do that to myself. He would go, he would go in the sea for 7 days or something like that. He would put himself through it. So you can't just say, well, he makes other people do it. He doesn't do it himself. It's incredible that he still does it, considering that he doesn't need to do that anymore. But he still does. So that's why he's number one. Anyways, if you guys have some ideas like that, share with me. Email it to me or tweet it to me. Fun crypto challenges, maybe not that extreme as the hula hoop one, but like trivia or some kind of game show stuff. I think things that could be easily done. I have also another good idea for Houston. I have this set idea for Houston. I think that's gonna be awesome, but I'm not gonna share what that idea is. No, Demi Geek, no. That would be breaking the rules. You should do a cruise or resort after everyone gets rich in 2025. I'll do a, yeah, maybe I'll rent out Icon of the Seas so that everyone could get on. Only crypto people could get on Icon of the Seas. They would never allow that. All right, guys. To conclude, you know what? Is Grayscale still selling? Yeah, but it's slowing down. The main thing to remember is they can't print more Bitcoin. They can only sell so much. Eventually, this is going to stop. And the other funds and the institutions and whales I showed today are all still buying and accumulating. They're not going to stop. So don't be feared out. Stay strong, my friends. And there's a lot of other goodness happening in this space too, besides just Bitcoin, Solana with their new token standards and Polygon 2.0. There's a lot of things coming. Tune in tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one. Take care.